Why are you fussed about your title? Why are you bothered about your business title? Every now and then, I run into someone who has a really creative ploy about how you go about defining the term the CEO. I've run into people who insist that they are the chief executive officer of so and so. They say that they are the customer experience officer of so and so. And I've even heard of the chief everything officer of so and so. All of this is under the guise to just say that you are a CEO. I guess it's a reasonable thing to do, in a sense, if you're trying to talk yourself up, motivate yourself, or present a really compelling front to the whole world. And I guess in that sense, it does matter if you are the CEO, what your business title is, and how you define that business title. But I believe that in the early days especially, that what we should be absolutely fussed about and what we should be absolutely focused about is the fact that nothing happens until a sales is made. Because sales is going to provide the lifeblood around which we're going to build the business, our business systems, our business titles, and all that other stuff. So all those things can come later, so long as we take care of the sales first. So there's no point in setting up the website, the Instagram handle, you get the branding, you get everything done. If you're a wedding photographer like I am, you spend 1.5 mil on the camera, or if you are a baker, you spend 3 million getting the latest and greatest oven and all that. So if you have all the money to do all that, that's fine. But coming up with all those things first, without worrying about how the sales are actually going to come in, is a little bit like putting the cart before the horse. If you have all the sales in the world coming in, then you have the latitude to now think about whether to buy the latest and the greatest camera or the most sophisticated oven that you saw on the cooking channel, or to change all your drapes and tables and all your inventory if you are a wedding decor person. Let the sales flow in first, and let that be the lifeblood that will determine the other stuff. It is only when you've got in sales that you now have the money to hire staff, extra hands, and then the whole thing of who is the CEO and who is the CSO and who is the HR person and all those other wonderful acronyms. It is only then that we can now start worrying about that. So our focus in the early days should be to get sales and to validate our business ideas first and foremost, and not necessarily be bothered about whether we are the head honcho, the CEO, the chief photographer, or the chief planning and design customer experience person, or whatever fancy title that happens to be the vogue right now. If we spend a lot of time trying to get sales and validate our business ideas first, it's going to give us plenty of runway and plenty of growth over the long term. For instance, in the beginning of me starting my business, I had a very simple idea that Photoshop was running amok, and that there are brides who are tired of being photoshopped and who are willing to look for a photographer who is not going to do any Photoshop. Along the way, I got distracted by all sorts of things, as we wedding photographers and others in the wedding and the event space often get distracted, by shiny new things or different ideas and stuff like that. So I would have been better off along, having spent about 10 years in the business now, if I had tried to validate that my idea and proved it conclusively and found a definite way of finding those brides who say, I am tired of being Photoshop and you are the photographer for me. So that is what you ought to spend all your time doing. Not worried about if you're the CEO and what CEO means. Get sales, validate your business idea first and foremost. So, what is your role in the business? Your role in the business is sales first. Or your role in the business is to hire the person who is going to bring in sales first. If you have been listening to the podcast for a while, you will remember that in one of the earlier episodes, we went over this whole idea of the purpose of the business, and that the purpose of a business is to create a customer. And that is an idea that was put forward by Peter Drucker. Now, the reason why that is the first purpose of a business is because whether you're a wedding photographer, like I am, or whether you run a filling station or a hotel, your number one job is to find market, as Nigerians like to say. The bottom line is we're all there to make people to come in through the door. So if I do nails, I wake up every day, my first job is who is going to come into my shop. If I'm a wedding photographer, it's who is going to book me for that next wedding. If I run Hilton Hotel, it's how am I going to get some more foot traffic to come downstairs to the reception so that we can get more people using our business conference rooms or booking under the different packages that we have, holiday packages, Valentine's packages, whatever it is. So no matter what it is we do, even if we sell agbalumo, our role is, first of all, to create a customer, to look for customers. So that should be our primary drive and not necessarily what it is that we are called. If this is your first time of listening to the podcast and you're interested in exploring these sorts of ideas some more, then what you do is you skip back to the menu, you scroll down a bit. Right now we have well over 160 episodes, so eventually you will get to titles that hint at what the purpose of a business is, and then you will have some of these ideas explored much more deeply. Especially since in the old days of me producing these podcasts, I routinely went up to 30 minutes and sometimes 45 minutes. So you are not going to be at a loss for finding some interesting material to go over. If you don't want to do that, but you want to hang along and go along from the ride from here on, that's not a problem. Please do. I always put out useful content and hopefully useful perspectives on business and all things sales. And on average, I do so twice a week, sometimes maybe a little bit more. So thank you very much for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based event and wedding photographer, Tavishima Ayede. I will catch you guys on the next recording.